Hello and welcome to this session on the 8th Literature Festival here in Islamabad. We are going to be discussing a new book which is Once Upon a Time in Murree. This is by Dr. Umar Mukhtar Khan, and it's a great book. I'd really recommend most people to pick it up and get it. We're lucky to have the author with us in the audience here today. I'll just give you a quick background of Umar Mukhtar. He's professionally trained as a doctor. He joined the civil service in 2000. He worked with Pakistan Customs, then went on to do an MPA at Harvard University. When he came back, he worked at DFID for a number of years. He's worked internationally in the UK, Turkey, Austria, France. He's currently also advising governments here in Pakistan on economic reforms. He is somebody who has a huge passion for traveling. He's done extensive travel all over the country. He writes on sustainable tourism and heritage. So we're very lucky to have you. Thank you. Acha, I just wanted to quickly open up with one thing. It's interesting that you took Murree as the topic for your first book. और एक चीज़ जो मुझे जहन में आता है is like for the first time जब लोग मरी जाते हैं, for a lot of people that's their first understanding कि this country is quite diverse. पहली दफ़ा उनको एक मिल जाता है कि look, okay, things are different. Murree is somehow the gateway to travel in Pakistan. Was that what it was for you, or was it something else?
Thank you for having me, Fasi. But something I would say partly yes, but partly it was also like that. Since my childhood, I would go to Murree every summer with my parents early on, and then when I went to college, then with friends I would go to Murree very often, and after that when I got married, then we were based in Islamabad, and probably every other weekend we will just drive to Murree. So it was a constant travels to Murree, which slowly and steadily made me feel and made me know more about Murree. So initially it was just like, for me, it was just like from Kashmir Point to Mall Road, और वो typical जो होता है वहाँ पर आप जाते हैं, कुछ खाते हैं, आइसक्रीम खाइए और बच्चों को सैर कराइए और या अपने दोस्तों के साथ आप लिंटॉट्स चले गए, and that was but slowly I started a bit like exploring both sides of the slope. Murree is at the top of a ridge, so both sides of the slope. Then I realized that Murree has so much to offer, and Murree has so much heritage which is still there. I think many people don't know about it, but it's so many churches, so many schools, European schools, villas and everything, that then I started getting even more interested about Murree's heritage. And that was the time when I also read a few books by, there was one guy, Virgil Medina, a US citizen based in Pakistan in 90s, and then there was Dr. Farooq Ahmed Khan, his book. When I read those books, it made me feel like that probably I should write something about Murree. So that's how it actually developed gradually and steadily.
Right. So, एक चीज़ बताएं, like you've talked about these other books, what do you think your book is now adding to this repository of knowledge on Murree?
So I think those books are definitely brilliant, and I would say a lot of, especially Dr. Farooq's book has a lot of information in it. But the way I wrote it was that when a reader reads it, he can actually, for example, the book has certain maps in it, very handmade maps, and made by, again, a friend. So those maps, you can just walk using those maps and find out all these places and know about their history and heritage. So that's a bit different. It's more of like taking you through Murree from north to south towards slopes and everywhere. So it's a different in that way.
See.
And one more thing which I would say is I try to find stories about different places. For me, it was not the Cecil Hotel. Maybe a lot of people have seen that. There is a building, it's a beautiful building, but I went a bit further than that. I found that, okay, how Flatties came to Murree, and then he owned Cecil at one point in time, and then there was a guy, I'm forgetting the name, but O'Brien basically, from Bhon Chakwal actually, who started this whole empire of hotels all over from Shimla to Murree, and he also owned Cecil. Then how Cecil went out of his hand then after 1965 war. So I try to find stories around all of these beautiful heritage. Yeah.
अच्छा, yeah, so एक सवाल इसमें ये भी है, so I find that really fascinating. ये जो we sort of know Murree from the iconography of these really beautiful buildings, these moments in time that we can still see. लेकिन about the people of Murree, I mean, उनके साथ, did you ever find that you developed a relationship, and उनका क्या ख्याल है, like in terms of like their bread and butter is also partly tourism, but एक resentment भी we've been seeing at least over 10-15 years कि they're brilliant at making sure कि जो tourist आ जाते हैं वो अपनी बदतमीजी, he won't go home without having answered it.
Yeah, so that's I think that's an evolving relationship. I would say rather than my relationship, I think Murree people's relationship with the rest of the people. I think Murree still is number one tourist resort in Pakistan by a big margin. So we have all those problems which come with a place, and I would say actually partly it was also because we didn't regulate it rightly before. So there would be, you would see hotels at places where they should not be, or आपके views block होंगे. There is no regulation of very less regulation of like how hotels are managed. So there are problems. But I think slowly and steadily things are improving. For example, I know that recently government has actually enacted a bylaws for buildings in Murree. So that would hopefully ensure that buildings 7 stories now they follow certain principles or they follow certain rules. But आपने जो लोगों की बात की, लोगों के लिए तो it's also a source of income, right? So besides I think getting into forces, which a lot of Murree people go into forces or government services, I think this tourism industry has really helped them in economic sense as well. So I also see tourism as a source of economic growth, and for really people, not for really for elites, for really people who are I think from a bit economically disadvantaged strata. So I think it's a win-win both if we are able to a bit more improve the relationship between the two groups. Yeah.
So we'll just come back to that in a second. But there was a passage in the opening of your book. I thought if you could just read that out to us.
Yeah, sure, I can. So my earliest memories date back to not so swinging 70s when my parents would take the good old Ford wagon from Faizabad in Rawalpindi and off we go to Murree. These signature wagons were all imported from Great Britain and would invariably have their original GB number plate displayed proudly at the top of these vehicles. The wagon would start its journey late, used to be slow, and emit nauseating fumes, but that was how life was. We were still a happy lot. The wagon would cross Chhattar in a while, and Chhattar used to have a roaring stream at that point in time, pass Salgra and reach Taret, from where we would start feeling the change. The old white wagon would take a break at Charapani to pour water into overheated engine, while passengers would have tea and snacks. That is English for pakoras. So that's just how I started this.
So I find this fascinating for 2 reasons, and I want to come to 2 questions on this. एक ये है कि like even when you go through the book, right? One of the things that strikes you is that a lot of the visual landscape is based on गोरे का जो presence है वहाँ का. Is there, what do you think, things that are prior to the presence of, the colonists or what parts of Murree do you think people should go and see, which also gives you a different flavor of Murree?
जी फसीस, तो अगर आप मरी रिच की बात करें, जो मरी प्रॉपर जिसकी अब हम बात कर रहे हैं, जिसको इस बुक में फोकस किया है मैंने, that was pasture land basically before 1849. So it used to belong to, there is a village, there were actually a few villages, but the biggest one was Masyari. So people of Masyari owned it. So basically the Britishers basically bought it from the people of Masyari, and there is a story on that particular sale as well, that how that sale was made and how much money people of Masyari got, which was, I would say, peanuts, agar aap aaj ke hisab se dekhen, but that was how it is. So it actually starts from 1849. Right. So, but if you are asking about, I mean, the local of Abbasis or Satis from another area, and so there were many people who were living there, I don't know since when, and there were villages, for example, Masyari would be centuries and centuries old. But my book focused basically on the rich part of it, which was essentially 1849 and after 1849.
Right.
Yeah.
So Abhi, or again going back to that passage, what I found interesting was that I was just thinking that this tradition which bonded you with your parents, and Murray has a space in that. Like how you must go now with your wife and children, materially is different, right? पहले जरा communal था. I'm sure these buses you're talking, ये वो Bedford वाले या एक और वो Ford वाले होते थे, ठीक है ना? वो अभी भी पेशावर में थोड़े बहुत
पेशावर में
ठीक है ना, which is fascinating to see कि अभी तक they've maintained those.
I love seeing them.
I love seeing them.
पेशावर में नजर आती है.
So has that changed? Do you think the experience you're passing on to your child, or is it fundamentally the same? Because Murray is also about families in one way.
So it has changed. I think Murray was much more peaceful, much more clean, calm at that point in time. When I'm talking about 70s and 80s, and this is something which a lot of people of my generation or people senior to me have shared with me. Murray now is different, and that's the idea as well, Fasi, that I mean things always change, nothing is constant, but I think we should try, and that is purpose of this book as well, to actually introduce Murray in a different way. I mean, Murray is much beyond Mall Road. Murray is much beyond just Kashmir Point. There are a lot of places in Murray which we can still explore, which are still there. I mean, Cecil Hotel is not there anymore. Somebody told me and actually showed me that has been actually taken over by another good hotel company in Pakistan, and they are renovating it, which is music to my ears. But a lot of hotels like Brightlands is not in a way that we all hope it should be. So it has changed a lot. But I still, for example, when I tell people you should go to Murray, you should go to Murray right now. October, November, maybe early December, and then in February, March, April. In season, what we call it, from May to September, it becomes too crowded. Yes. So we should a bit plan accordingly. But I still enjoy going to Murray and just walking on the Mall Road and from Kashmir Point to yeah.
So I mean, I find it interesting कि अभी जाना, but make sure कि टायर गंजे ना हो. ये वापसी में जरा बताते हैं. लेकिन एक आप अगर ये बताएं, I was just curious on 2 points. One is that ये जो मरी में आप कह रहे हैं regulation है, it's a bit more tightly controlled after the free for all period.
Yeah. And
एक interprovincial चीज भी चल रही है कि KP seems to be attracting the investment by allowing the free for all at their side. Where you go, वो कहते हैं नहीं यहाँ you can do whatever you want. So do you see this as really problematic that we can't recover from, let's say, uncontrolled growth in these areas?
So I would say, Fasi, I think KP is handling it a bit better. Right. For example, I understand that they have made development authorities at these places, especially Nathia Galiyar Development Authority. I think Naran is where it is a difficult, it's a bit messy, I would say, but I think the good thing is they are taking their institutional approach to these problems, that they have developed. There is a Kagan Development Authority, there is a Galiyar Development Authority, which are quite autonomous in terms of their own revenue generation, in terms of their own management. So I'm actually happy, and I feel that Nathia Gali is a bit better. I would not say everything is good, but I think they are handling it a bit better. But you are right that a lot of tourist traffic is now shifting from, especially when you talk about middle class and upper middle class, they are shifting from Murree to more Nathia Gali or Naran because of the very good roads and everything. Yeah.
So I just had a question on this as well. Is एक associated चीज़ें is like your book is an invitation to Murree based on your love and what you've seen. और एक चीज़ जो है कि for tourism to work, you also need a certain culture of tourism. That when you go to a place, you don't leave it worse off than you went to it.
Exactly.
The campfire rule जो होता है. तो I was wondering is like in terms of मैं देख रहा था, I forget where it was, कि there was like this sort of historic wall जिस पे लिखा था कि Bashir was here. ठीक है ना तो I mean how much of a problem do you see that?
I think a substantial issue and a substantial problem. People go there to enjoy and not get into debates with, street vendors or hotels or anything. But what one thing and with a lot of people involved, we are trying to do is we have, for example, developed a very informal organization, Friends of Murree, in which we are trying to do, for example, to come up with a museum in Murree. So that, and then we are also working with Kosar University. There is a new university and with an excellent vice chancellor who is very interested to develop some sort of like the students should know this, that this is, they should own it. They are local students. They should do heritage tours of Murree themselves, like you have seen in elsewhere in the world. They should be a bit, unless the Murree people know that this is their asset and they treat it as their asset, I think nothing would work. So that's where we are working on awareness, and I think it's a hard job. It's a difficult thing to do, but that's probably we don't have a shortcut to it.
So a follow-up question to this, it's interesting you say this. There's also, in terms of like moneyed interests, there's sometimes a very big push that, this heritage is non-productive. अब ये जो 12 कनाल में ये चीज़ बनी है, right, जिसमें छोटा सा 11 कनाल, let's do something with it, and you find that a lot of buildings are raised. I find that like it was interesting that KP recently declared दिलीप कुमार का घर preserve कर रहे हैं, उससे पहले अमृता शेर गिल का भी बहुत पहले. Do you find that or has Murree lost any key parts of its heritage to this drive?
So yes. But the good thing is that Punjab Archaeology Department some time back, they declared a lot of these premises as special premises, and which means actually you cannot take them down. But those were, I think, the top heritage sites. For example, Cecil, for example, Convent of Jesus and Mary, or churches, I think there is a lot of private villas where exactly this thing has happened. And interestingly, I would not name one of these villas, but actually the owners were a bit not happy with me on the mention of that thing in my book. I actually said something like in my book that in future you won't be able to see it, so see it before it's gone. And something similar happened.
Right.
But the good thing was the person they sold it to, he did a good job in converting it to a hotel, but actually keeping it the facade as it is. So I was a bit happy with that.
Right.
And he was mindful of it. He just didn't take it down. He just maintained it in some way. So in that sense, that's a constant challenge. I've heard of stories where out of the blue, the building would be set on fire, accidental fire, and things would. But then that's part of the.
So you just mentioned Convent of Jesus and Mary, and you have a passage in your book. Could you just read that to us?
Yeah, sure. I would. So, Fatih, as you would be aware that this is a 19th century school, as Lawrence College is, as St. Denis is, as most of these schools are in Murree. So, And these used to be primarily for soldiers and orphans of British people who were living here. So we have to read it in that context. So.
Yes.
One of the most prominent attributes of the school Convent of Jesus and Mary, was the demand it made on the girls to perform not only academically but also to behave and live as ladies and to conform to the school rules at all times. Chewing gum, for example, was not allowed at any time of the day as it was unladylike. True to the vision of the founder, girls had the option of taking housecraft class sessions focused on teaching girls good housekeeping, including, for example, how to make beds with mitred corners and pack picnic meals the proper way. As Sister Simon Peter would say it, the proclamations were monthly events at which girls excelling expectations were rewarded blue cards, while those falling short of expectations were given pink cards. So, it was a very strict disciplinarian kind of school, as Lawrence College was, as other schools was. So they were a bit like, as all these old boys schools used to be. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting that there's an element of preparing you for domesticity, or here you have women who go on to become really powerful and just say...
So we had Prime Minister, Benazir Bhutto went to Convent of Jesus and Mary from April 1964 to September or November 1965 for 1.5 years. And I actually went to CGM and I requested them and they showed me their admission register and I put a picture of Benazir Bhutto as well as Sanam Bhutto. They were both together at CGM, and then I was reading Benazir's autobiography and she mentions in a very nostalgic way her days at CGM. So yeah, it was fascinating.
So, if I asked you a hypothetical here, आपको मरी का chairman बनाए, of the TMA, or what are the 3-4 things you would do?
So yeah, an interesting question. And so one, I would definitely do something about construction. So you said that now, but it has actually the construction, the bylaws was approved by the government like probably 2 weeks back.
Right.
So up till in the last 3 or 4 years, I think it was really bad. The way construction was going on, and I wonder that it's still going on and it has stopped because of these bylaws now. So one thing on is eco-friendly construction. That's number one, so that you don't block other people's views. You don't just create monstrous structure like we see in Murray these days.
जो सारा glass का एक वो facade होता है.
Exactly. So the other thing is, I think I would definitely would focus, if I am whatever I have a day, would be waste disposal from Murray, plastics.
Right.
That you see now every nala, every slope is littered with these plastics and bags and whatever. Third thing would be awareness, I think. In not order, probably awareness should be the first thing. Awareness where people should know, as you say, campfire rule. You cannot litter. You cannot make it, difficult for people. It's your own country. It's your own cities. If you don't care for them, who would?
Achha, so we're coming to the end of it. I would like to ask you one last question, and that is, in this book, and I recommend everyone, please do take it. It's a fascinating read, and it's also critically, visually great. You can even skim through and you'll find interesting things that you want to then read about. So the last question I have is, out of, like, you've discovered these places, there are stories behind it, and that's what differentiates your book, right? It's a humanized contemporary history of Murray. What's been your most fascinating story that's come out of this, that you were really taken aback by?
So there are stories you'll have to actually read. I'm just thinking which one should I just mention. So I think The story of Cecil was very interesting for me. The way Cecil was sold to this O'Brien guy who started from zero, and then he went on to own hotels in not only in Murree, Flashman, Rawalpindi, Flatties, Pindi, and in Shimla, and even in Egypt, and I think a lot of places. The way his struggle, I think that was fascinating for me. And then after 1965 war, because he migrated to India, then we nationalized his properties, and then you see the slow decline of all of those properties, and here we are. So that's a fascinating. But I would recommend you to read the stories around Murree Brewery. The story around this, there are stories in convent, and there is a story, especially a story of our one of our prime ministers at Charehan rest house. I mean, very good story.
Achha.
So I would
Scandal nahi hai.
No. I try to be stay clear, but you should read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We actually have 2 minutes. If I can pick one of these, can you tell us the Murree Brewery story?
Yeah, so Murree Brewery was, founded I think in 1860. So one is personal story. So I was on my honeymoon, and we were just driving, and my wife is sitting just across. So, and we just stopped in front of this huge building, ruins, which I had no clue to what it is. And these were magnificent, if anyone has seen those. And then I just walked, and I came before a building, and the plaque says Murree Brewery Limited 1860. And I was fascinated by it. And after 10 years, I went there, and that plaque was not there. But luckily, what I found to my delight was that plaque is now placed at Murree Brewery, Rawalpindi. That was the next best place where the plaque can be. But the other part was that when it was founded in 1860, one of the founder was, I would forget the name, but something like Dyer, or the end was Dyer. And that Dyer guy had a son born in Murree, who joined military, and he became something like General Dyer. And that General Dyer is the person we all know of 1919 Jallianwala Bagh. So Murree has its infamous sons like General Dyer, and then it has its famous sons like Francis Young. Husband was also born in Murree.
Right.
So and the great explorer. So in that sense, Murree has so much history and so much. And even just one last, and before then we can. There was a Major Hudson. There used to be a Major Hudson who arrested Bahadur Shah Zafar in 1857. So that Major Hudson also lived in Murree before 1857, and then he had a daughter who died in Murree and buried in Murree. So he had a house which I can actually point you out. Now it has been demolished, but it's just when you go from Governor House to down on a road. So Major Hudson also lived in Murree. And I found it fascinating that some people who are so important to our history there are so many of them connected to Murree, from our past, from our present, from our prime ministers, from General Zia to Nawaz Sharif to Benazir to Imran Khan. Everyone is linked to Murree. And still we at times don't know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That has been fascinating. I wish we had more time, because I would really recommend everyone, please do pick up this book. It's Once Upon a Time in Murree by Umar Mukhtar Khan. And thank you so much for coming and being a part of this.
I'm really grateful. Enjoy talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.